We're talking about the ancient ash-blighted land of Morrowind, a land shaped not just by, towering volcanoes and whispered prophecies, but by three enigmatic figures who, well, against all odds, ascended to something truly unthinkable.
Godlike status.
Exactly, godlike status. We're talking about Vivec, Almalexia, and Sotha Sil, known collectively as the living gods, or simply the Tribunal.
Yeah, and what's so compelling about their saga, I think, is that it's way more than just, a simple tale of power grabbing.
Right.
It's a really profound exploration of ambition's ultimate cost and the fluid, often unsettling nature of divinity itself. And maybe most importantly, the incredible, almost terrifying ways history can be rewritten.
Oh, absolutely. And that warping of history, that manipulation of truth, that seems to be a recurring thread throughout their entire saga, doesn't it?
It really does, right from the beginning.
So our mission today is to try and peel back those layers of myth and, well, propaganda. We want to go far beyond the surface narratives you might have picked up in the games.
Yeah, dig deeper.
We're exploring their astonishing, audacious ascent to godhood, their complex and often contradictory reign, their ultimate kind of tragic downfall, and the deep, sometimes disturbing lore that surrounds them.
It's a lot to unpack.
It is. So consider this your shortcut to becoming truly well-informed about one of the richest, most debated, and frankly most mind-bending corners of Elder Scrolls lore. We're going to uncover some shocking truths, conflicting accounts that might make you question everything,
Right.
and explore the massive cultural, philosophical, and even cosmological implications of their story, for the Dunmer people and for Nirn itself. So settle in, because this is going to be quite the journey. Okay, let's unpack this from the very beginning. Let's trace the path that led these three mortals to, well, claim divinity before they were worshipped as gods. Vivec, Almalexia, Sotha Sil. They were a powerful mortal chimer.
That's right. The Chimer, the predecessors of the Dunmer, before, Azura's curse changed their appearance. And they weren't just anybody. They were instrumental figures. Trusted counselors to Lord Indorel Nerevar.
Nerevar, the Hortator. That's their supreme military and political leader, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And Almalexia, for instance, wasn't just a counselor. She was Nerevar's wife and queen, a figure of immense influence in her own right.
Right.
There's even this fascinating, slightly unsettling note in Vivec's sermons. It says that before her marriage to Nerevar, she had this flickering image that accommodated her female needs, known as a husband's state.
Whoa, what does that even mean, a husband's state?
It's incredibly cryptic, isn't it? It hints at this malleable, maybe even fluid identity even back then, in her mortal form, suggests, a being of inherent shifting power from the start.
That is a truly striking phrase. Okay, so this period also saw the formation of the First Council, an alliance. This is between the Chimer and the Dwemer, right?
Yes, a really unprecedented alliance. Nerevar's Chimer and the highly advanced Dwemer, led by their King Dumac. It's remembered as this time of unprecedented peace in Resdayn, which we now call Morrowind.
And bringing together two such, well, fiercely proud cultures. That must have been remarkable, setting aside old grudges.
It really was. And as a symbol of this unity, King Dumac gifted Nerevar and Almalexia those amazing twin blades, Hope's Fire and True Flame.
Ah, yes. Those become important later.
Very important. Yet even in this era of peace, the seeds of future conflict were already being sown. And this is where it gets really interesting, I think. It was actually Nerevar's close friend and trusted companion, Vorin Dagoth.
Wait, Dagoth, as in Dagoth Ur.
The very same. Before he became, that Dagoth Ur, he inadvertently triggered the conflict. He discovered the Dwemer's secret source of power.
Which was?
Something the Chimer found profoundly profane and heretical, the heart of Lorkhan, deep within Red Mountain. And that discovery, well, it changed everything.
Okay, the heart of Lorkhan. This is absolutely crucial to understanding, well, pretty much everything that follows, isn't it?
Absolutely central. And it's not just some powerful magical artifact. It's literally described as the divine spark of the deity Lorkhan.
Lorkhan, the missing god. The one who tricked the other spirits into creating the mortal world, Mundus.
That's the one. Legend says his heart was torn out by the other gods as punishment, and when it fell from the sky like a meteor, it crashed into Nirn.
And formed Red Mountain itself, still beating, radiating immense power.
Exactly. Which makes Red Mountain far more than just a volcano. It's metaphysically significant. The first stone of Red Tower.
A tower. Like the White Gold Tower.
Sort of, yeah. One of the foundational pillars of reality, a cosmic anchor point. It's even said the first stone and its tower allowed Mundus to exist without the full, direct presence of the divine. It granted Mundus a special kind of divinity called in ein Leern.
In our N, the consequence of variable fate. That sounds incredibly deep.
It is. It means this isn't just a powerful object, it's fundamental to the cosmos. A place where the veil between divine and mortal is exceptionally thin.
So harnessing that kind of reality-bending power, you'd need more than just ambition. You'd need genius, maybe madness.
Or both. Enter Kagranak, the Dunmer chief tonal architect, a pioneer, they called him, in mythopoeic forces.
Mythopoeic forces. That's like reality-shaping magic on a cosmic scale.
Basically, yeah. Shaping reality through belief, will, cosmic understanding, magic on the grandest scale where thoughts can literally alter the fabric of existence. He meticulously devised 3 unique tools: Wraithguard, Sunder, and Keening.
Kagranak's tools, designed specifically to handle the heart's energy.
Exactly, to safely harness and manipulate its immense raw power.
And his ultimate goal. What was he trying to do with the heart?
Something truly audacious. Create a numidium, also known terrifyingly as the brass god, or the walking star.
The brass god, I've heard of that. A giant construct.
A colossal, seemingly invincible construct powered by the heart of Lorcan. The Dwemer, through Kagranak's vision, aimed to make themselves immortal through this thing, maybe even transcend mortal limits entirely, achieve collective godhood.
Wow, so they weren't just building a weapon, they were trying to build themselves into gods.
Pretty much. Vivec himself later believed that the Dwemer's divine sin, their attempt to create a god from Lorcan's essence, was directly connected to their mysterious disappearance.
Hubris on a cosmic scale. Got it. Okay, so all this cosmic ambition, this mortal intrigue, it inevitably leads to war, right? The War of the First Council, culminating in the Battle of Red Mountain.
Exactly. And this battle is just mired in conflicting accounts, right down to who was allied with whom, especially regarding House Dagoth. The history is a mess.
It really seems like nobody agrees on what actually happened.
That's putting it mildly. The narrative isn't just fractured, it's almost shattered. If you look at Vivec's own account in the Battle of Red Mountain or Sermon 36,
What does he say?
he claims Nerevar slew King Dumak of the Drummer. Then Kagranak Vivec calls him the Blighter, which is pretty dismissive, unveiled his ultimate weapon, this walking star, Numidium.
The brass god.
Right, which blasted the land with such force it supposedly created the Inner Sea. According to Vivec, it took the combined might of the Amcivi, Almalexia, Sotha Sil, and himself to destroy it. And as it died, poof, the Dwemer vanished.
Vanished into thin air.
That's his story. His sermons also paint this vivid picture of their own heroics, of course. Almalexia taking on her serpentine warface, Sotha Sil summoning Clockwork Drew. It's very dramatic, very focused on their power.
Sounds a bit self-serving, maybe.
It certainly emphasizes their role. But then you have the Ashlander accounts and other Outlander stories which tell a radically different and frankly far more unsettling tale about the Dwemer's disappearance.
How so?
They describe the Dwemer turning to dust instantly. Like they were just unmade from reality itself.
Turned to dust. Serious.
Yeah, and it's not just folklore, there's physical evidence.
Yeah.
In undisturbed Dwemer ruins like Bamthemshand, they've found ash piles, just piles of dust, often still with weapons and armor.
Whoa.
It suggests something sudden, simultaneous, and utterly catastrophic, not a gradual fading or a retreat.
Okay, that's way weirder than just vanishing, which leads us to this whole dragon break thing, doesn't it? The red moment.
Exactly. One of the most mind-bending concepts in the lore. The idea is that these wildly contradictory accounts and the Dwemer's instant disappearance weren't just unreliable narrators.
No.
No, it might have been a cosmic event, a literal temporal distortion where linear time shattered, multiple possibilities happening at once.
Okay, my head hurts already. Time shattered.
Pretty much, this red moment is a period where time effectively breaks down. Multiple realities coexist, maybe even overwrite each other. King Wolfhearth, the legendary Nordic hero,
Yeah, I know.
he's even said to have known they were inside the red moment. He recognized the temporal chaos as it was happening.
That's insane.
And what's really fascinating is that dragon breaks are often associated with activating Numidium itself. We see it later with the warp in the west.
So the brass god, the weapon Kagranak built, it could have actually caused the timeline to break, erasing its own creators.
That's a major theory, yeah. It could have been the catalyst for this temporal chaos, erasing the Drummer from linear history, or maybe scattering their fate across countless possibilities. The takeaway isn't just that history is unreliable.
It's that reality itself can break.
Exactly. Objective truth can literally fracture in Tamriel. It challenges the whole idea of a fixed reality. Makes you question everything.
So after the chaos of Red Mountain, the battle's over, the Dunmers are gone. Nerevar, being conscious about the heart's power, makes the others swear an oath, right?
A crucial moment. He insisted Almalexia, Vivec, and Sotha Sil swear a solemn oath upon Azura herself.
Azura, the Daedric prince.
Yep. Swear never to use Kagranek's tools, the very things designed to tap the heart to seize divine power for themselves. A binding promise, right there in the shadow of these cosmic events.
A defining moment. You don't swear on a Daedric prince lightly.
You really don't, and yet... Here comes the pivotal betrayal. Despite that solemn oath, just a few years later, the Tribunal broke it.
They just broke it.
They did. They used those very tools, Wraithguard, Sunder, Keening, to draw divine essence directly from the heart of Lorkhan. It wasn't just grabbing power, it was cosmic theft, a fundamental transgression.
And that's what made them gods.
That's what transformed them from powerful mortals into living gods, but it came at an unimaginable cost.
The cost being the transformation of their entire race.
Immediately. Profoundly. All Chimer became the Dunmer. Ash-gray skin, burning red eyes, forever marked.
Azura's curse, a physical sign of the broken vow, etched onto their very skin.
A constant reminder of their perfidy, their betrayal. You couldn't ignore it.
So how did the new gods handle this rather inconvenient truth?
With a massive cover-up, basically. The newly formed Tribunal Temple immediately started pushing what they called the Hierogrypha, the official Orthodox teachings.
And what do those say?
That their divinity was spontaneous, a result of their supernatural virtue, discipline, wisdom, and insight. They just ascended because they were inherently great, not because they still power from a dead god's heart.
Right. Convenient.
Very. This narrative control, this rewriting of their own origin story, became absolutely central to the Tribunal's long reign. It shaped everything for the Dunmer.
Okay, so the Tribunal are now living gods pushing their official story. But what about Nerevar, the Hortator they supposedly serve? What's the Hierogrypha say happened to him?
The official temple line. Oh, it claims Nerevar lived long enough to bless the new tribunal as his people's protectors. Saw a nice, peaceful transition into their divine stewardship.
Very neat. Very clean. Almost too clean.
Exactly. That's the public face. But the apocrypha, the hidden writings, especially the stuff exposed by the dissident priests in texts like Progress of Truth, they tell a much darker story.
The dissident priests, they were challenging the temple?
Risking everything to do it. Their writings revealed secrets, untruths, inconsistencies, conflicting accounts. They hinted strongly at darker and less heroic motives and actions by the tribunes, suggested a deeply concealed truth about how Nerevar really died.
So not just a different interpretation, but a fundamental challenge to their whole divine authority.
Absolutely. Which brings us to the conflicting accounts of Nerevar's death. And honestly, some of them are grim, really gruesome.
Like what?
The Ashlander tribes, and this figure, Sul, whose accounts get passed down, they explicitly accuse the tribunal of murdering Nerevar. Flat out.
Murder, not just dying in battle.
Murder! And they get specific. Brutal imaginings, Almalexia using poisoned candles, Sotha Sil poisoned robes, Vivec using poisoned invocations.
Wow.
Other versions are even more graphic. Vivec plunging his spear, Muatra through Nerevar, Sotha Sil severing his face, Almalexia, his own wife, severing his feet. It's incredibly violent, personal, utter betrayal.
That's horrifying.
Yeah.
But are those the only stories?
Well, no. That's where it gets even murkier. Dagoth Ur himself claimed he dealt Nerevar a mortal wound at Red Mountain.
Dagoth Ur claimed that? Why?
Who knows? Given his later madness, his motives are deeply suspect. Maybe guilt, maybe rewriting history himself. And then Vivec? Well, Vivec just bluntly denies the murder, dismisses the Ashlander and Sul stories as baseless lies.
So?
Yeah.
We just don't know for sure. It's lost to unreliable history.
It leaves you, the listener, really having to piece together what feels true. There's no single verified account, just these conflicting, passionate narratives.
And this ambiguity, this shadow over Nerevar's death, has massive consequences, right? Because Azura was not happy about that broken oath.
Not even slightly. She appeared in wrath, incandescent fury, cursed them for their perfidy, their treachery, their deceit, and for mocking the will of the gods by stealing the heart's power.
And that's when the transformation happened, the Chimer to Dunmer.
That exact moment, the physical manifestation of the curse, the ash skin, the red eyes, an eternal mark on the entire race, reminding them constantly of the tribunal's broken vow and the price of their godhood.
But Azura didn't just curse them, did she? She made a promise too.
A promise of eventual justice. She vowed that her champion Nerevar would return, be reincarnated, to punish them.
Nerevar reborn.
Yes. And this promise forms the core of the Nerevarine prophecies, meticulously preserved by the Ashlanders who never accepted the Tribunal's divinity.
So the prophecies foretold his return.
Foretold the reincarnation of Nerevar coming as an outsider who would defeat the Sharmat, that's Dagoth Ur, and crucially, cast down the false gods.
The Tribunal themselves.
Exactly. It sets the entire stage for the Morrowind story we know. A destiny long foretold, just waiting for its moment.
Okay, let's zoom in on the individual gods now, because each one is just complex, contradictory, fascinating. Let's start with Vivec, the warrior poet, maybe the most enigmatic.
Arguably, yeah, and the most philosophically profound, perhaps. He describes himself with this unique, magic hermaphrodite identity. Calls himself the union of male and female, the martial axiom, the sex death of language.
The sex death of language.
I know, right? Deeply strange, evocative stuff. He even says, I have crushed a world with my left hand, but in my right hand is how it could have won against me. Love is under my will only. It's powerful, paradoxical, suggests immense power, but also intimacy with its opposite.
This dual nature, this embrace of paradox.
Yeah.
It feels key to Vivec.
Absolutely central. His 36 lessons of Vivec. They aren't just religious texts. They're this treasure trove of his cosmology, philosophy, and, well, thinly veiled autobiography.
What kind of things does he teach?
Well, for instance, the waking world is the amnesia of dream, suggesting reality itself is just a forgotten dream, a temporary oblivion from a deeper truth. He constantly warns against abusing power, says it leads to a broken state. Seems like he's reflecting on his own careful balance, maybe.
And he defines his role within the Tribunal pretty clearly, doesn't he?
Very clearly. He positions himself as the sword, the active, martial, protective force. I am, Almalexia, is the star, the guiding maternal light. And Sotha Sil is the mechanism, the architect, the designer.
The sword, the star, the mechanism. Okay. But he also says something about being an enigma that must be removed for the center to hold. What's that about?
That's a really fascinating self-prophecy, isn't it? For a god to believe he must ultimately be removed for cosmic stability. It hints at this deeper understanding of balance, maybe even a planned obsolescence for his own divinity, an ultimate sacrifice.
A sacrifice, wow. And his relationship with Nerevar, it was more than just mentorship.
Oh, much more complex. He describes ritual combat with Nerevar, where Vivec marked the Hortator, like a bonding through pain and connection. And he sees Dagoth Ur, the Sharmat, not just as an enemy, but as Nerevar's double, a false dreamer.
A corrupted mirror image of Nerevar adds another layer to their struggle.
Definitely. And his sermons are full of these battles with terrifying monster progeny.
Monster progeny. Like actual monsters.
Sort of. Bizarre, almost surreal entities. Horde Mountain, the Pocket Cabal, Ready Man, Lyrock, even Geel G.A. Morgiel. They often represent metaphysical threats, philosophical challenges he had to overcome.
Not just punching monsters, then.
Not usually, no. And what's truly unsettling is that Almalexia herself, within the sermons, delivers this prophecy that the ninth monster Vivec would face would be Vivec himself, destroyed by his own Book of Hours.
Destroyed by his own teachings. That's incredibly meta, self-aware, maybe even self-sacrificing, like you say.
Exactly. Which leads us right into the most profound, most debated concept tied to Vivec.
Ah, yes. CHIM, we've hinted at it. Let's really try and unpack this now. What is CHIM? It sounds complicated.
It is complicated, but incredibly important. CHIM is this profound divine state, a way to achieve true self-realization within the dream of existence.
The dream of existence.
Yeah, imagine the whole Elder Scrolls cosmos, the Orbis, as a dream being dreamt by. Well, something fundamental. Most beings are just characters in that dream. CHIM is the moment of cosmic revelation when you realize you are just a character in this dream, that everything is illusion.
Okay, so you realize it's all a dream, and then what? You wake up.
Disappear.
That's the danger. If you realize it and can't handle the paradox, you fall into zero sum. You simply cease to exist, erased by the realization of your own non-reality. But CHIM is when you realize I am within the dream, even though you also realize I are all, meaning you're part of the whole illusion. You affirm your own existence within the paradox.
You see the illusion, but choose to remain an individual within it.
Precisely. Mankar Cameron even claimed CHIM lets you mantle deities, become them. And the suggested Telos used CHIM to mantle Lorcan, reshaping Cyrodiil from jungle to forest.
Wow. Okay, so I am and I are all. That's the key phrase from Sermon 14, right? Vivec says, Ei gartukaped hom CHIM, Ei altadun. That's the one. I am and I are all. It sounds contradictory because it is a paradox. Simultaneous realization of your unity with the cosmos, knowing it's all a dream, while paradoxically maintaining your individuality within it.
Like realizing you're a character in a dream, but instead of vanishing, you gain ultimate clarity and power inside the dream without breaking it.
Exactly, like becoming the author of your own existence within the universal story, but choosing not to erase yourself. It's why Vivec can say things like, reach heaven by violence. It's a path to divinity through radical self-understanding and absolute will, not worship or birthright.
So the implications are huge. It challenges the whole divine order, doesn't it? If anyone can potentially achieve this.
Fundamentally, it suggests any being, potentially, could transcend reality and become godlike through self-realization, not stolen power. It makes the universe far more fluid, far more terrifying, maybe.
So why would Vivec, a god himself, offer this path? And how does it explain him being an atlas of smoke or his doubt making him the sword?
It all connects back. He understands the illusory nature of his own divinity, yet wields it for the dream's stability. His willingness to be removed, his being an atlas of smoke, vast yet intangible, his doubt. It's not weakness, it's the paradox of CHIM. It allows him to exist on that knife edge, granting foresight, the ability to steer events. He's the necessary sword, precisely because he understands the illusion. He offers the path maybe because he knows the divine order is mutable and truth can be realized by anyone with the absolute will to see it. Liberation, but incredibly dangerous.
Okay, moving from the enigma of Vivec to Almalexia, the healing mother, Lady of Mercy. She seems much more accessible.
Definitely. Hugely popular among the Dunmer. Known for compassion, sympathy, forgiveness, protecting the poor. She was the most personable of the three, often walking among her people, a direct maternal figure closely tied to House Indoril too.
And her writings, the homilies of Blessed Almalexia, they reflect that persona.
Perfectly. They're mostly simple children's fables, designed to nurture morality, impart wisdom, direct but profound lessons for everyday Dunmer.
Like what kind of lessons?
Well, Sotha Sil in the Scribs teaches that the idle amusements of one may be the solemn tortures of another. Simple empathy. The boiled Kagudi warns of subtle dangers of change, like a creature boiled slowly doesn't notice until it's too late. A parable for corruption, maybe?
Interesting. Like the frog in boiling water legend.
Exactly that sort of thing. And the Wounded Netch talks about how thoughtless companions may bring more harm than help, practical, moralistic teachings for guiding everyday life.
But despite this gentle image, she was also a fierce warrior, wasn't she?
Oh, absolutely. A renowned, powerful combatant. Legends even say she could beat Vivec in single combat. That speaks volumes about her martial prowess.
Wow. And she wielded Hope's Fire, one of those original Dunmer blades?
She did, and she proved her power dramatically back in 1E 2920. She fought Murren's Dagon himself when he destroyed Mournhold, plunged Hope's Fire right into his chest, forced him back to oblivion, immense strength and fury when defending her people.
So, this powerful, benevolent image.
Yeah.
How did it all go so wrong? Her descent into madness.
It seems to have been a slow decline. Her power started ebbing during that long struggle with Dagoth Ur, especially without constant, direct access to the heart of Lorcan.
Right, the divine juice was running low.
Exactly. That divine sustenance was crucial. The strain started to tell. She became harsher, more unsympathetic. Her patience wore thin. By 3E 377, she stopped appearing in public altogether, just retreated.
And this led to the full madness we see in the Tribunal DLC.
Tragically, yes. Completely obsessed with being the one true god. She resorted to desperate, monstrous measures, even used Brummary machinery to create ash storms over Mournhold, trying to rekindle her people's love through manufactured crisis and fear, a desperate attempt to regain her fading glory.
Sense twisted, using fear to get love back.
Deeply. And this madness led to the ultimate betrayal, truly shocking. She murdered Sotha Sil, her fellow tribune, in his own clockwork city.
She killed Sotha Sil.
Then, with chilling cunning, she framed him for the fabricant attacks she herself unleashed on Mournhold. Her goal was absolute control, unquestioning worship. She saw Sotha Sil's withdrawn silence as mockery of her supreme authority, her fading power.
So she tried to kill the Nerevarine too.
Yeah.
Believing they were a threat.
Yeah. Saw the Nerevarine as another rival, another threat to her being the one god. But she was defeated, died at the Nerevarine's hand, her own Hope's Fire clashing against Nerevar's reforged true flame.
And Azura's final word on her.
Chilling. Azura confirmed the depth of her corruption, said Almalexia would have betrayed the Dunmer eventually, just as she betrayed Nerevar and Sotha Sil. It was her true curse to betray everyone she loved and everyone who loved her.
Okay, our final tribune, Sotha Sil. the clockwork god, the nameless will. His philosophy seems dense, really metaphysical.
Incredibly dense, yeah. His sermons, recorded as The Truth in Sequence by Deldris Morvain, offer this unique, almost terrifyingly mechanical view of existence. He's the architect, the grand designer.
What's his main critique of the world of Mundus?
He saw Nirn as fundamentally flawed, a broken and leaking steamship. A Nirn of many parts. Why? Because it was created by the selfish purpose of the Adada, the original spirit, by giving themselves names, forms, individual identities. He saw this act of naming as the wedge that pries gear from pinion. It broke the perfect unity, creating multitude and chaos, fragmentation.
Okay, so individuality is bad, unity is good. That feeds into his idea of the nameless will, then.
Exactly. Sotha Sil, or Set, is the convergent clockwork god. He's striving for ultimate unity, a perfected state he calls the Nirn ensuing, or Tamriel final. He believes name is a great lie that cleaves individuality, leads to discord.
Which means he rejects free will.
Fundamentally, he sees choice as just chaos. Free will is merely a lack of order, vulgar and triumphant. True reality, for him, is found when the true wheels spin clockwise, ever clockwise. A deterministic universe.
Wow, that's a radical rejection of agency, isn't it? Kind of bleak.
It is, and his famous silence is part of this philosophy. He believed it gave birth to the intrepid mind. Knowledge for him must be found, and to find a thing, it must be hidden.
So curiosity is good, even though choice is bad.
Curiosity is a joyful destroyer. It allows sundering to make things whole. You have to break down old understandings, smash the old machines to assemble new truths. It's about refining, not choosing randomly.
How did he view the other tribunes then? ALM, Almalexia, and Vivec?
Critically, he said their hearts are vessels filled with liquid brass resistant to harm, but incapable of movement. He spurns that which does not move, anything stagnant, resistant to ultimate order.
And the Dunmer. He didn't approve of their goals either.
No, he saw their pursuit of multitudes, their focus on individual power, ambition, the Numidium project, as redundant and profane in his eye. They missed the path to true unified reality.
And all of this philosophy manifests in his ultimate creation, the Clockwork City. What is that place?
It's not just a construct, it's the living embodiment of his beliefs. The throne-aligned, the omniaxle, a perfectly ordered world, crystal skies, obsidian towers, intricate brass filigrees. It's Nirn's refinement. Not just a copy, but a perfected version of reality. Meticulously crafted, totally controlled. His ideal cosmos in miniature.
And its inhabitants reflect this too. His second children.
Precisely. The Fabri Serenosum, the merged ones, and the factotums. They're guardians with a hatred of discord designed for perfect function. And his followers, the Clockwork Apostles.
What about them?
Their society is rigidly regimented. Every apostle has one distinct purpose, like a cog in a machine. They even replace their limbs with brass components, physically embracing the mechanical ideal.
Whoa. That's devotion.
It is, and there's that chilling detail about him sealing away Almalexia's memory of Mournhold's destruction in his great mnemonic planisphere, a giant memory device. Control, manipulation, even if, maybe, for her own good at the time, managing the broken parts of reality his way.
So the Tribunal rise. They established their temple.
Yeah.
This fundamentally reshaped Dunmer society, didn't it? Became the state religion.
Completely reshaped it. And they didn't just appear out of nowhere. They shrewdly manipulated existing ancestral and Daedra worship traditions.
To cement their own rule and hide the truth about how they got their power.
Exactly. Rebranded themselves as benevolent protectors while pushing the older ways aside or sort of absorbing them into their new structure. Their influence became vast, pervasive.
Where was the temple's presence strongest?
Everywhere, really. Main centers in cities like Almalexia, Sotha Sil, Necrom on the mainland. On Vivardin you had Vivec City, the massive Ghostgate fortress, basically all sacred and profane sites. The High Fane in Vivec City and the Ghostgate were huge symbols of their power and control over Dunmer life.
And the great houses of Morrowind. How did they fit in with the temple?
Intricately aligned, mostly. House Enduril was deeply intertwined. They dominated the priesthood, commanded the ordinators, the temple's zealous enforcers. They even claimed kinship with the Tribunal and Nerevar to boost their own status.
So Enduril was the most temple-friendly. What about the others? Redoran?
House Redoran was also very pious, known for their warriors. Their buoyant armigers served as guardians of the ghost fence. Very dutiful.
Lalu. They always seem more pragmatic.
They were more mercantile. Maintained piety mostly for convenience, to smooth things over, especially with their close ties to imperial rule. balanced faith with ambition.
And Tilvani, the mages.
Generally disdainful. Their mage lords considered themselves just as ancient and powerful, if not more so, than the Almcivi, valued individual magical power way above organized religion.
Right, and house stress.
Traditional, heavily invested in the slave trade. They supported the temple when it suited their interests. It shows how the tribunal's influence permeates society, but also had to contend with each house's core identity.
Now, before the tribunal, the original faith was ancestor worship and the good Daedra, Azura, Mephala, both, the reclamations.
That was the core faith, yes. The tribunal temple largely superseded that, making Vivec, Almalexia, and Sotha Sil the main focus. But it's important, those older practices never fully died out.
They just went underground. Or got recontextualized.
Pretty much a testament to the endurance of ancient beliefs, even under powerful new gods.
But the temple didn't tolerate all beliefs, did they? What about heresy? Dissent?
Oh, they were ruthless about suppression. The dissident priests, for example, played an incredibly dangerous role.
They were the ones questioning the tribunal's divinity, pointing out inconsistencies.
Yes, and holding on to the forbidden Nerevarine prophecies. Naturally, the temple persecuted them mercilessly, branded them heretics, imprisoned them, executed them.
And anyone claiming to be the Nerevarine.
Same treatment. Persecuted. Their prophecies dismissed as unjust and politically motivated attempts to destabilize things.
And the Ashlanders. The nomads.
They staunchly refused to accept the tribunal's divinity from the start, viewed them as oath-breakers, false gods. They preserved their own accounts of Red Mountain, Nerevar's fate. They were the living archives of the forbidden history.
So this whole religious and political structure, it profoundly shaped Dunmer society, their very identity.
Absolutely. Remember, the transformation from Chimer to Dunmer was a direct result of the tribunal's betrayal and Azura's curse. Yet despite that origin, under the Almcivi, the Dunmer achieved this newly formed unity and might.
They became powerful, repelled Rager threats.
They did. Repelled foes like Ash King Wolfhearth, a legendary Nordic hero, really powerful figure. So the tribunal brought stability and power for thousands of years, even if built on a lie.
But there were still tensions, especially with the Empire later on.
Always underlying tensions, yeah. Particularly in Mournhold, the capital. Even with Morrowind's autonomy under the Armistice, there was this unspoken power struggle. The temple, led by Almalexia there, versus the imperial-appointed king.
And the temple usually won out.
For a very long time, yes. Their divine authority generally outweighed any mortal monarch. Shows how deep the tribunal's roots went in Dunmer life.
So thousands of years of rule. Guiding, protecting. But it wasn't eternal, was it? Their power, built on that stolen spark, it started to unravel. And it began with Dagoth Ur.
The resurgence of Dagoth Ur was the beginning of the end, really. Voran Dagoth, presumed dead, awakens inside Red Mountain early in the Third Era, becomes the Sharmot, the mad god Dagoth Ur.
Drawing power directly from the heart of Lorcan, the source the tribunal used.
Exactly, a direct, constant corrupting connection. And the tribunal found themselves locked in this endless struggle. They undertook seasonal campaigns to Red Mountain.
Fighting Dagoth Ur and his ash vampires.
Yes, his 7 ash vampire brothers, powerful heart-wights who, like him, were revived at the heart after being slain. Essentially immortal, thanks to the heart's influence.
So the tribunal couldn't permanently kill them?
Nope. Strike them down, the heart revives them, an endless, draining, ultimately fruitless cycle. And Dagoth Ur had his own grand plan.
Which was? Not just defending the mountain, I assume.
Far from it. He wanted to build a Kulakan, the second Numidium, a grotesque brass machine god to conquer all of Tamriel.
A second brass god. He was mirroring Kagranak's ambition.
In a twisted, blighted way, yes. Same ambition, different, darker ends.
And as Dagoth Ur's power grew, the tribunals waned.
Exactly. The constant struggle, the inability to win, it took its toll. Almalexia, especially Vivec, said she had always had a tendency to brood, became harder, more unsympathetic, without that constant access to the heart's energy.
Their true source was being denied, or at least contested.
Right. Even Vivec admitted they'd become careless and complacent, said Dagoth Ur was stronger and smarter than they'd anticipated. It was a slow, agonizing, losing battle for the gods themselves.
And they built the ghost fence to try and contain him.
To contain the blight, the corpus monster spreading from Red Mountain, yeah. An enormous shield-like wall around the whole volcanic region, a monumental feat of magic.
Sustained by their combined power.
Yes, and chillingly incorporating the bones of countless Dunmeri ancestors, literally built on past sacrifices, but maintaining it required immense, constant divine energy, a huge drain on their dwindling reserves.
And then things got even worse. Dagoth Ur captured Kagonek's tools.
A critical blow. In 3E 417, he got his hands on Sunder and Keening. This loss, plus the huge effort of sustaining the Ghost Fence, it severely weakened the Tribunal. They became increasingly reclusive, appeared less and less. Vivec, once the most public, was left pretty much alone to spearhead the fight and maintain the Ghost Fence. Took so much energy he could not stir out of his palace.
The gods were trapped.
Yeah.
Bleeding away their power. Wow. So this slow decline, it all culminates in the Tribunal DLC, right? 3E 427. The Nerevarine, fresh off defeating Dagoth Ur, gets drawn to Mournhold.
Yeah, mysteriously drawn to the mainland capital, because strange mechanical fabricants start attacking the city, seemingly coming from Sotha Sil's Clockwork City.
Seemingly. So the Nerevarine investigates, goes into the Clockwork City.
Ventures into that alien, awe-inspiring realm of gears and brass, only to find Sotha Sil already dead, murdered in his own sanctuary.
So it's dead. But who? Oh, no.
Then Almalexia appears, her madness fully unveiled. Terrifying, she confesses. She killed Sotha Sil. She orchestrated the Fabricant attacks to frame him.
Why?
All to rekindle her people's love through manufactured crisis and heroism. She admits she was driven mad by the heart of Lorkhan. Her power was failing. Sotha Sil's silence felt like mockery. Her goal, become the one true god of the Dunmer. No sharing the stage.
The ultimate betrayal by the Healing Mother. Unbelievable.
So the Nerevarine, having reforged True Flame Nerevar's legendary sword, is forced to confront her.
True Flame versus Hope's Fire. Nerevar's blade against hers.
The final tragic battle, the Nerevarine wins, strikes down the mad goddess.
And Azura shows up again.
Right on cue. Confirms Almalexia's madness was a direct consequence of mortals messing with divine power, stealing what wasn't hers, the destruction of the heart's enchantments by the Nerevarine, Almalexia's death. It fulfills the prophecies, signals the definitive death of the Amsavi Tribunal as living gods.
Their era, truly over, tragically. So the Tribunal fall, what were the consequences? They must have been huge, catastrophic.
Absolutely catastrophic, echoed for centuries. Vivec, well, he expressed pity for Almalexia, gave her a poignant farewell, but then he just disappeared.
Vivec vanished. His fate is still a mystery.
One of Tamriel's enduring mysteries. Imperial reports later stated Almalexia, Dagoth Ur, Sotha Sil, and possibly Vivec were destroyed by the Nerevarine's fury, and the Nerevarine also vanished, destiny fulfilled, gone.
And the Ghost Fence. Dagoth Ur gone.
The blight stopped spreading. The Ghost Fence became unnecessary. Its massive shield was deactivated, but the disappearance of the Tribunes left this colossal void, a period of collapse for the Temple, their authority shattered, a huge crisis of faith for the Dunmer.
A crisis of faith. And then the Red Year happened.
The Red Year, 4E5, the catastrophic eruption of Red Mountain, triggered by Bardau finally falling.
Bardau, the meteor over Vivec City.
The very same. It hung there for millennia, held up only by Vivec's divine power. Once he disappeared, no support. It crashed. The eruption devastated Vivardenfell, forced a mass exodus of Dunmer refugees across Tamriel, poisoned the land for decades.
The ultimate consequence of their gods being gone, a terrible price.
A clear message, perhaps. Even stolen divinity expires. In the painful aftermath, a new temple rose.
What was the new temple?
It officially abandoned tribunal worship, declared it misguided teaching, a heresy. They returned to the reclamations Azura, Mephala, Bothia, and ancestor worship. The original faith restored.
And the Tribunes, what happened to their status?
Demoted to revered saints and heroes, not living gods. Though it's worth noting, even into the Fourth Era, heretical cults of tribunal worshippers, especially Almalexia's, still existed. Clinging to the old ways, facing persecution from the new temple, belief didn't just vanish overnight.
Okay, so the Tribunal story is tangled up with so many other key parts of the lore, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like destiny braiding these threads together. Let's circle back to Dagoth Ur, the Charmant.
His transformation from Vorin Dagoth, Nerevar's friend, to the mad god powered by the heart. It's central not just to his story, but to the Tribunal's fall.
His power was immense, sustained by the heart. And those ash vampires, his brothers.
7 of them. Powerful heart whites, also revived by the heart after being killed. That shared immortality, that connection made them incredibly dangerous. And Vivec saw Dagoth Ur as the Sharmot, the false dreamer, Nerevar's double.
A dark reflection of what Nerevar could have become if you'd used the heart.
Exactly, a corrupted mirror. And Dagoth Ur's plan, a Kulakan, the second Numidium.
A direct echo of the Dwemer's brass god.
A horrifying echo, this brass machine god meant to conquer Tamriel. Only starved by the Nerevarine destroying the heart's enchantments. It shows this cyclical, almost fated aspect to this destructive power. The mechanical god keeps trying to rise.
Which leads us back to the Nerevarine prophecies. Not just folklore, but Azura's promise of justice. A cosmic corrective.
Exactly. Foretelling Nerevar's return as an outsider to defeat the Sharmat and cast down the false gods, the Tribunal, ending their stolen divinity.
And the Nerevarine had to pass specific trials to prove they were the real deal.
Key trials: curing Corpus, the blight disease, being confirmed by Nerevar's enchanted moon and star ring, which only accepts his true reincarnation, and reforging True Flame, Nerevar's lost sword.
With help from the last living Dwemer, Yagrum and Bagarn.
The very same. Who survived because he was in another dimension when his race vanished. These weren't just heroic feats, they were cosmic interventions, fulfilling millennia-old prophecy, reshaping Morrowind's future.
So the Nerevarines' actions directly caused the Tribunal's downfall, ended the blight, fulfilled Azura's curse and prophecy, realigned the balance.
Showed that even self-proclaimed gods are subject to destiny, or maybe the will of more primal forces.
Okay, let's revisit CHIM one more time, because it's just so fundamental and weird. Recap. Realizing reality is a dream, but affirming your own existence within it anyway. To be and not be.
That's the core of it, like being a character in a story, realizing you're in a story, but continuing to write your own part instead of vanishing. And Vivec's understanding of it, his referencing it, it suggests a deeper grasp of the Orbis, the cosmos, than Almalexia or Sotha Sil seem to have.
Maybe a link to his dual nature, his paradoxes.
Yeah.
His willingness to be removed.
Quite possibly. That willingness to be removed, that self-doubt.
Yep.
Maybe it is part of understanding CHIM. Acknowledging the illusion without succumbing to zero-sum, sacrificing himself for the dream's stability.
The cosmological implications are staggering then. It challenges everything about gods and mortals.
It really does. If mortals can achieve godlike states through self-realization, not theft, what even is a god? It suggests the boundaries are far more fluid. Maybe terrifyingly so. Divinity isn't just bestowed, it can be understood into being.
Mind-bending stuff. Okay, quickly. The ghost fence again. Huge magical barrier containing the blight, built from ancestor bones, but a massive drain on their power.
A vital protection for Vivardenfell, but its maintenance, especially after losing the tools, contributed hugely to their weakening. Its deactivation after Dagoth Ur's defeat truly marked the end of their direct protective era, a physical symbol of their fading power.
And finally, Numidium, the brass god, Kagranak's ultimate creation, meant to make the Dwemer gods.
But instead became this infamous cosmic destroyer, capable of causing dragon breaks, fracturing reality itself, the warp in the West. It's like an anti-divine weapon, a mechanical god that breaks reality.
And Dagoth Ur trying to build a Kulakan, the second Numidium.
Yeah.
It just shows that ambition, that dangerous idea keeps coming back, doesn't it?
Like a cyclical force, a fated aspect of Tamriel's history, this constant temptation to transcend limits by building a mechanical god, always leading, it seems, to disaster.
Hashtag outro quit. Wow. So we've taken an incredible journey through the complex, often disturbing saga of the Tribunal of Morrowind. From their audacious, maybe sinful rise to godhood using the heart, to thousands of years of stewardship marked by both compassion and, well, absolute control. We saw the creeping corruption, the madness, especially with Almalexia.
Tragic.
And their eventual prophesied fall.
Yeah.
Destiny, the Nerevarine.
The whole 9 yards.
The core insights here are just profound, aren't they? The cost of defined divine will, the power of ancient curses, how narrative shapes history and hides uncomfortable truths.
Yeah.
We've seen the complexities of leadership, even divine leadership, how even gods, especially stolen power gods, can succumb to very human flaws, madness, and through it all, that cyclical nature of power and prophecy in Tamriel. Old ambitions, ancient promises, always rippling through time.
The Nerarine's victory unmade the gods, led to the Red Year. But it leaves us with a big question, I think. What does it mean for a people, the Dunmer, who built their entire civilization, their identity, on beings who turned out to be flawed, even mad? How do you reconcile that?
Right. How does a culture reconcile such a fundamental shift? Going from worshiping living gods to accepting them as saints, heroes, or maybe even, as Azura revealed, deeply flawed betrayers. How do you rebuild your faith, your self-image, when the foundation is revealed as a tragic lie?
And maybe tying back to Sotha Sil, If choice is merely chaos and the true wheels spin clockwise, ever clockwise, dictating that you cannot do otherwise, how much of Dunmer history, Red Mountain, the Tribunal's rise, their fall, was truly chosen?
Or was it all just the relentless tick-tock of the clockwork god's design? Preordained.
Something to ponder until our next deep dive.
Indeed. Join us next time for another plunge into the fascinating depths of the unknown.